What if I told you that the ground beneath your financial future is not as solid as you think? That a silent tremor is running through the system, one that most people won't feel until it's too late. You've worked hard, you've saved, you've invested, you followed the rules, but the rules are changing. By the end of this video, you will not only see the invisible cracks forming in the economy, but you will also learn how to build a financial ark, protecting everything you've built and even thriving while others are swept away. This isn't about fear, it's about foresight. Imagine a beautiful, sunny day at the beach. Everyone is having fun, swimming, building sandcastles. The tide is slowly, almost imperceptibly, going out. Further and further, people barely notice. Some even cheer, finding new, exotic shells on the exposed seabed. They venture farther out, excited by the unusual calm. They don't realize that the ocean is gathering its strength. This is what a financial bubble feels like. A strange, exciting calm before the storm. The media shouts about record highs. Your friends brag about their gains. The feeling is electric. You feel the pressure to jump in, to not miss out. But this is the moment of greatest danger. This is the moment the smart money becomes quiet and the crowd roars. The question isn't asterisk if asterisk the tide will return, but when. And will you be standing on the shore or stranded far out at sea? The old playbook is obsolete. The advice your parents gave you, get a good job, save money, invest in a simple portfolio, it was designed for a different world. A slower, more predictable world. Today, information moves at the speed of light, and so does money. This creates massive, fast-moving currents that can either make you rich or wipe you out. In this new game, the winners are those who see the patterns, who understand the flow of capital, not just the headlines. They don't get swept up in the hype. The losers? They are the ones who buy at the peak, fueled by the fear of missing out, only to sell in a panic when the tide rushes back in. They become the liquidity for the winners. The system is designed this way, but you don't have to be on the losing side. What if you could learn to read the tide charts yourself? So how do you protect yourself? The first step is to build a seawall. This isn't about selling everything and hiding your money under the mattress. It's about rebalancing your foundation. Look at your assets. Are they all in one sandcastle? If the stock market is your entire world, you're exposed. True wealth is resilient. It's diversified not just across different stocks, but across different asterisk types of assets. Assets that don't all move in the same direction. Think of it like this. You need assets that zig when the market sags. This could mean tangible things like real estate or even commodities. It's about owning things that have intrinsic value, things that people need regardless of what the market is doing. The goal is not to predict the crash. It's to ensure that when the wave hits, your foundation holds. You need to ask yourself a hard question. If the market dropped 50% tomorrow, would I be financially destroyed? If the answer is yes, your seawall isn't strong enough yet. Consider the story of the 2008 financial crisis. While most people were losing their homes and their life savings, a small group of investors made a fortune. They weren't lucky. They saw the cracks forming in the housing market long before anyone else. They saw the easy money and the reckless lending for what it was, an unsustainable party. While everyone else was dancing, they were quietly placing their bets against the system. They were buying insurance on assets they knew were destined to fail. When the bubble burst, their insurance paid out massively. This isn't about being cynical, it's about being a realist. They protected their capital by understanding the true risk, not the perceived risk. They didn't follow the crowd. They followed the data. And that made all the difference. Now, how can you apply that same thinking not just to protect, but to actually grow? Protection is defense. But you also need to play offense. Step 2 is about building adaptive income streams. Relying on a single paycheck is like building your house on a single pillar. It might be strong, but it's a single point of failure. In a rapidly changing economy, you need multiple independent sources of income. This isn't just about having a side hustle, it's about building systems that generate cash flow. This could be anything from a rental property, to creating digital products, to investing in dividend-paying stocks. The key is that they are not all tied to the same economic engine. If your main job is in tech, maybe your side income is in something totally unrelated, like a local service business. Think of it as a fleet of small, nimble boats instead of one giant Titanic. If one boat springs a leak, you have others to keep you afloat and moving forward. The goal is to make your income as resilient as your assets, so your financial well-being doesn't depend on the mood of one boss or one industry. Let me tell you about a friend of mine, a graphic designer named Sarah. A few years ago, she was totally dependent on her agency job. When talk of a recession started, she got nervous. Instead of just worrying, she took action. She loved pottery, so she started a small online store selling her handmade mugs. It started slow, just a few $100s a month. But she reinvested it. She bought a better kiln. She took a course on e-commerce marketing. Then she started offering online pottery classes. When the pandemic hit and her agency furloughed half its staff, including her, it was scary. But it wasn't a catastrophe. Her side hustle was now making more than her old salary. She had built her own financial boat, and she was the captain. She didn't just survive the storm. She learned to sail in it. Her story shows that building adaptive income isn't just a fantasy. It's a practical strategy for financial freedom. But how do you know when to be defensive and when to be offensive? You learn to read the signals. This brings us to our final and most crucial step, learning to read the weather report for the economy. You don't need a PhD in economics. You just need to know what to look for. The first signal is what insiders call the CAPE ratio, or the Shiller PE. Don't worry about the name. Just think of it as a price tag for the entire stock market. When that price tag is historically high, it means stocks are expensive. It's like buying a house at the peak of a housing boom. You can still do it, but your risk is much, much higher. The second signal is investor sentiment. Are your friends who never talked about stocks suddenly giving you hot tips? Is every headline screaming about a new paradigm where prices only go up? That's euphoria. And euphoria is the dinner bell for a market top. Finally, watch the Federal Reserve. When they start raising interest rates aggressively to fight inflation, they are purposefully taking away the punch bowl from the party. They are trying to cool things down. This almost always leads to a slowdown. These three signals, high valuations, mass euphoria, and tightening monetary policy, are the dark clouds that gather before the storm. They tell you it's time to check your seawall and prepare your lifeboats. So let's bring it all together. The world is telling you to join the party, to chase the hype. But we know that the loudest moments are often the most dangerous. You now have a framework to see what others don't. First, you protect your core by building a diversified seawall of resilient assets. Don't let one wave sink your entire ship. Second, you build adaptive income streams, a fleet of small boats to navigate any economic weather. And third, you learn to read the signals, the market's price tag, the crowd's emotion, and the actions of the central banks. These are your weather reports. They give you the foresight to act, not react. This isn't about timing the market perfectly. It is about building a robust financial life that can withstand the inevitable cycles of boom and bust. You are no longer a passive passenger. You are the captain of your own ship. You have the map. You can read the tides. This is MacroScope. See the signals. Make the moves.